Welcome to the Daily Brain Podcast. Ever been, wrongly accused of something?
Oh, yeah.
It's just the worst feeling, right?
Okay.
Today, we are going to do a deep dive into a word that represents, the sweet relief of being cleared from blame.
Okay.
That word is exonerate.
I like it.
And we've got a ton of different sources for this. We've got dictionary definitions, vocabulary websites. We even pulled some YouTube explanations.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to fully unpack this.
This is exciting. I think what's so interesting about exonerate is that, it's not just a legal term.
Yeah.
It really gets at something deeper, right? Like a basic human desire to be fair and to have your honor restored.
Absolutely. Let's just start with the basics.
Okay.
The Cambridge Dictionary defines exonerate very simply as to show or state that someone or something is not guilty of something.
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward, but I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
Right. Yeah, it's not just about saying, oh, you're innocent. It's about, lifting the weight of that accusation, acknowledging that somebody was wrongly burdened.
Like in that example that they give from the Cambridge Dictionary, where they said the report exonerated the crew from all responsibility for the collision.
Yeah.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about not getting blamed.
Right.
It's about, protecting careers, reputations.
Exactly. And it's interesting. You see that legal context come up in a lot of our sources.
Okay.
Merriam-Webster, vocabulary.com. If you go down a legal YouTube rabbit hole, everyone's emphasizing the connection between exonerate and, the courts.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Speaking of legal cases, one of the YouTube videos brought up O.J. Simpson.
Okay, interesting.
He was acquitted.
Right.
But everyone still kind of thinks he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like there's a difference between being legally exonerated and being exonerated in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, that's such an important point. What does it really mean to be truly exonerated? Is it just this legal outcome, or is there something more to it? How do you deal with that lingering doubt even after you've been declared innocent?
Right, and that's kind of like the example that vocabulary.com used, where they had, they were talking about a neighbor who was falsely accused of drawing smiley faces on everybody's doors.
Oh.
And when they finally found the real culprit, the relief.
Yeah.
But what about that time before? What about all that suspicion?
Yeah, all those whispers. It makes you realize, that exonerate isn't just about what the law says. It's about relationships, about getting that trust back from people.
Exactly. And pasted text actually took it a step further.
Oh.
They were talking about how exonerate can actually apply to personal situations, ethical dilemmas, even organizations. A company gets accused of some kind of wrongdoing,
sure,
but then a thorough audit exonerates them.
Okay.
That restores public trust, investor trust.
Saves their business, potentially.
Exactly. And it feels like exonerate just really speaks to this deep-seated human need for justice, for truth.
Right.
There's this great quote in our pasted text source by Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, okay.
He said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice."
Powerful.
He didn't use the word exonerate, but I think it really ties into the idea, justice being served.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how sometimes that path to justice is helped along by, scientific advances. The pasted text source actually pointed out that DNA technology has helped exonerate more than 375 people who were wrongly convicted since 1989.
Wow. That's huge.
It is huge.
Imagine the impact on those individuals, their families,
Yeah.
maybe decades of their lives just stolen because they were wrongly convicted.
Right.
That's where the weight of exonerate really hits home.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it just makes you think wow, we got to really be careful about due process.
Yeah.
About getting to the truth of things. Yeah.
And are there other places in life where we're maybe a little too quick to judge?
That's a really good question. I mean, thinking about, how we handle accusations and judgments in our own lives and not even in the legal system.
Absolutely. Just think about everyday situations where you've maybe felt misjudged or misunderstood.
Yeah.
At work or with your friends, your family even.
Yeah.
No lawyers, no courtroom, but that need to be exonerated.
Yeah.
To have your name cleared.
Right.
To have people understand your truth.
Yes.
It's so strong.
So it's almost like there's this spectrum of exoneration.
Yeah.
You've got the legal cases and then those smaller personal moments where you just want the people you care about to understand.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that in those more personal settings, often there isn't like a formal process. It might be a tough conversation.
Yeah.
You know, an apology.
Maybe just time passing.
Right.
But it takes courage. It takes vulnerability.
Yeah.
To really try to get that understanding.
Absolutely. And you know what? Even sometimes when someone is exonerated, legally or personally, it feels like the accusation still kind of hangs over them.
Right.
One of the YouTube explainers used the example of someone being wrongly accused of stealing. Even after the truth came out, people might still have those doubts or treat them differently.
It's powerful, right, how accusations really stick with you. And I think that's why it's so, so important to really think before we judge.
Yeah.
Even if someone's exonerated, that damage to their reputation, to their relationships, it can take so long to fix.
It's a good reminder that words have weight.
Yeah.
And even when we try to, take them back or clarify a misunderstanding, the impact can last.
Oh, yeah. And, it really makes me think about that Justice Brandeis quote in the pasted text.
Oh, yeah.
He was warning us, don't rush to judgment.
Yeah.
Don't do it until you really understand the whole story.
Yeah.
That's such an important thing to remember.
It is.
Whether it's, a big legal thing or just a small disagreement with someone you know.
Makes you think about, how can we be more discerning? How can we be more fair in our own interactions? Should we, be questioning our assumptions all the time?
Well, I don't think we need to become, detectives in every situation. But, having some skepticism, thinking critically.
Yeah.
Those are good things. Be open to other perspectives.
Right.
Be willing to admit when you might be wrong.
Okay.
And most importantly, really try to get the full picture.
Yeah.
Before you decide what you think.
Yeah, it's like that saying, there are two sides to every story, and then there's the truth.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes that truth, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
And even when we think we know it for sure, there's always a chance we might be missing something.
And that's where I think this idea of exoneration is so crucial. It's not just about saying, oh, okay, you're innocent.
Right.
It's acknowledging that, our understanding of things can be wrong.
Right.
And we got to be open to changing our minds when new information comes up.
That makes sense. So how do we balance that need to think critically with our natural tendency as humans to make judgments? Feels like a tightrope walk, It
is. It takes effort.
Yeah.
Be aware of your own biases.
Yeah.
Look for different perspectives. Right. Be willing to have those hard conversations, even when it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it also means being kind to others, recognizing that they might be going through their own process of trying to be exonerated and understood.
It's a really good reminder that even though exonerate might be a legal term, it's about so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's a value that we can all try to live by.
Absolutely.
Trying to be fair, compassionate, understanding with other people.
It's about recognizing that everyone deserves to be heard, that their truth matters, and that they shouldn't have to carry the weight of unfair accusations.
Yes.
And in a world with so much misinformation, so many snap judgments, that idea of exoneration for ourselves and for others, it just feels more important now than ever.
It's like we're all on this journey, right?
Yeah.
Of looking for exoneration, offering it.
Yeah, sometimes we're the ones who need it. Sometimes we're in a position to give it.
Exactly.
It's a process.
Yeah, for sure. And it takes, looking inward, being compassionate to others.
Absolutely. Got to check our own judgments, our own biases. But at the same time, be ready to understand what other people are going through.
And that takes me back to that final point from Justice Brandeis.
Oh, yeah?
In our paste-to-text source.
Yeah.
Where he's like, don't rush to judge. Understand the whole situation first.
Right.
It feels like a good rule to live by in general.
Totally. Approach everything with a little humility.
Yeah.
Be curious.
Okay.
Listen. Ask questions.
Right.
Really trying to get the whole picture before you jump to conclusions.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on exonerate, it seems like the biggest takeaway is, it's about way more than just the legal stuff.
Well, for sure.
It's something we all need.
Right.
And something we can all strive for in our everyday lives.
Absolutely. Making a world where truth matters, where fairness wins out, where we give people the benefit of the doubt,
right,
and we're all willing to be understanding and forgiving.
I love that. So on that note, we're going to leave you with one final question to think about. How can we each help create a more exonerating world?
Yeah. How can we be more aware of our judgments?
Yeah.
More compassionate in how we treat each other.
Right.
More dedicated to finding the truth for ourselves and for everyone else.
Absolutely. Keep those brains working.
Yes.
And until next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the Daily Brain Podcast.
See ya, Rep.